And we're live. Welcome to Augment Your Week, Monday, August 10th. What an incredible day. This is my father's birthday. My father passed away 4 years ago, so we're going to just pause for a moment and celebrate his life. He taught me so many lessons on the topic we're going to discuss today. So grateful. Tom Blanchard. Oh my goodness. Well, in pondering this morning's message, I'm going to run a real risk of including you in a very personal story, because sometimes they're the best examples of the application of principles. When Og tells us that in scroll 8, we can be compared to a grain of wheat, we can be put in a sack, dumped in a stall, and fed to the swine. We can be ground into flour, made into bread, and devoured by the will of others. Or we can be planted in the darkness of the soil in order to ripen. And the darkness of the soil is our failures, our frustrations, our fears, our doubts, all the questions we have about our worth, our worthiness, our ability, our character, the value of our contribution, all of that dialogue and all of those life circumstances. We're planted in the darkness of that so that we can finally soften our shell. And when our shell starts to soften, we can start to grow, to expand. And when we grow and finally pop through to the sunlight of success, we're 100 grains of wheat, not just one. That pressure, that heat, that water, those nutrients, all those things we're feeding ourselves. But Og makes it crystal clear. If we're going to do this, there are two places we want to focus. He said it this way in scroll 8. First, I'll set my goals for the day, the week, the month, the year, and my life. Just as the rain must fall before the wheat will crack its shell and sprout, so must I have objectives before my life will crystallize. If we've ever felt confused, like we don't know what we're supposed to do, we feel lost, we feel disconnected, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, if we're in that space, it is time for us to step back and reflect on the things we're going to talk about this morning. As Og then goes on, then I'll set my goals. I'll consider my best of the past, and I'll make it a little bit better, and then a little bit better. For about a year, Ramona and I have been pulled on. You just feel it. We're supposed to be somewhere else. The premise was this. We have our house here in Bountiful. We have a cabin in Bear Lake. When we bought the cabin, 7 bedrooms, 7 baths, it was enough for our 7 married children and 13 grandkids. It's almost splitting at the seams now when all 43 of us are there. It's beautiful, but it's also 2.5 hours away, which means they can't come very often. And when we're here, we're kind of pulled to be there. If you're going to invest that much money in a place, you feel like you need to spend time there, right? So that's kind of our travel is going there, not necessarily Europe or Asia, but to the cabin. And as we're getting a little bit older and exploring what we wanted, we said we really want a place at a lake that's closer. There happens to be that lake. It's Pine View Reservoir, just up in Ogden Canyon. Beautiful lake. Could we get a house that overlooks the lake? We would be just 5 minutes from the ski slopes. We would be just a couple of minutes from launching a boat on the lake. We could go ATVing, hiking in the most beautiful mountains. Is that possible? Well, often we think about these things without making the commitments necessary to actually accomplish them. And I'm going to give you one of my greatest secrets this morning for dream creation. for actually making things happen. So here we are. A month ago, I found that house. Oh my, it is fabulous. Huge decks on the back overlooking Pine View, which is just a beautiful lake. Uh, it's got mature trees around it, an acre of ground, which is all you want on the side of that hill. But we need to be able to sell our house and cabin to justify buying it. So we listed our house and we listed the cabin. And last Sunday, in preparation for Monday, we had some real frustrations. We had got an offer on the house that was just not acceptable. We had to decline it. I called my agent. We had a long conversation about maybe this is a bad idea, just thinking through it with him. I couldn't quite understand it because that house I had already moved into in my mind. I'd already decorated it. I knew exactly where everything went. There's a couple things we want to change. Woke up in the middle of the night with the answers. Couldn't stop thinking. And last Sunday night made the decision that, well, I guess it's just not going to be. Let it go. And said, it was a good mental exercise. You ever had one of those dreams you just kind of did that with? You just let it go. Don't let it go. The next day, we got 2 offers, one on the cabin and a revisit on the house, countered on Tuesday, and put both of them under contract within 4 hours. I've heard stories like this, but you know you're doing the right thing when it's almost like a miracle. Both of them. Now, here's the problem. The mountain house, the lake house, there was an offer put on the house. Yep. On Monday, before we got our offers. We found out about it. That's why I just kind of let it go. I had to just let it go. But the seller countered. And interestingly, the buyer let it go for a day or two, then said, we're going camping. We won't have cell phones, but we'll get back to you on Monday. With offer in hand, Wednesday afternoon, we wrote the offer for the house on Thursday. Then we went to look at it on Friday. And while we were there, they accepted our offer. No counter, just accepted the offer. And we were under contract. Now, there's a couple of things we talk about in dream creation, about a test of a worthy dream. We can't stop thinking about it, and it inspires us to take action. It encourages us to stretch and grow. You just have to let it go and just surrender. Sometimes we'll need to do that. Ramona and I had a great conversation yesterday about how we're going to decorate this new house. We've got very different tastes. And so I would listen to her and find good in her idea. And she was consciously listening to me and finding good in my idea. And that afternoon, we had the most delightful conversation about how we can accomplish this move without getting into arguments. We just don't do that. But mostly because she gives in to me, right? But being able to do this in a partnership, so encourages us, adds to our core to stretch and grow. It fosters abundance. We have an executive team, a team of 10 leaders, 12 leaders coming to the cabin in September, just before it closes. They'll be the 10th, 11th, 12th, leave on the 13th. It closes on the 14th. That's crazy, right? Anyway, they're the last ones to come, and I'm going, oh my goodness. We're going to prepare this home. It could handle 43 of us as a family. It could certainly handle executive teams, and it's such a beautiful, inspiring place to bring corporate teams, business owners together, and to take on life. and to be able to go skiing in the wintertime, boating, four-wheeling in the summers we have at the cabin, but only be 45 minutes away from here, 50 minutes away from the airport, 55 minutes. Incredible. So, fosters abundance? Yeah. We want to share this. Ramona and I don't want to be at the lake by ourselves. We want our kids to come. Many of them ski at that resort that's 5 minutes away. Saturday, we were all on the lake together. Paul brought his boat, we had ours, and we got a beach, and oh my goodness, we played for 12 hours on the water. 12 hours. I was exhausted. So we know this is going to be a place for our family to gather, where they can come up and stay a night and go home. They don't have to haul a trailer full of stuff for all the kids and justify 5 hours of driving to and from a place. I'm just sharing this with you for a couple of reasons. Oh, there's one more thing. We embrace structure. That's the fourth test. We're willing to embrace the structure to create it. So here I am 1 week later. Last week I came to you just a little sad, and willing to surrender, not give up, but surrender. And then look what's unfolded in 7 days. That's when you know a dream should be created. Now, how does all this work? What are the underpinnings? That's what I want to share with you this morning. It could be really simple if you're not paying attention. Please be with me. Just focus for a moment, because this information is so critical for the way entrepreneurial minds think. That would be business owners. That would be executives in a corporation. When you think independently, very vividly, and often catastrophizing or fantasizing, or obsessively thinking about new and better ways to do everything, if we're in that space, here's what I do. I have both the measurements that are like a fully charged fire hose with a brass nozzle. If I'm not hanging on to them, bam, 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 bam. I have a journal. There it is right there. And I got a whole case of them, bookcase of them up here. I take a piece of paper and I put a line down the middle. In the left column, I write, created only in my mind. Let's write that on the top of your page. Created only, you want to capitalize and underline it like me, only in my mind. Right column, created in tangible reality. Why the distinction? Because your mind, when it starts thinking about things, creates a new mental construct. That means it constructs a new reality in your mind. You might know the word better as expectation. Create expectations. Etymologically, that word means concrete condition for happiness. Wow. So it's created. It's done. Now, when it doesn't happen, we get that cortisol surge. Activates our amygdala, which shuts down our prefrontal cortex, our empathy, practical judgment, common sense, rendering us emotionally paralyzed. Really a tough time. We want to avoid this process as much as we can. Vivid visionaries, this is a hard line to draw, but you want to draw it. And on the left-hand side, everything you created in your mind. And make a comprehensive list as it relates to this piece. Created in my mind, house sold. Created in tangible reality, house listed. Cabin sold in my mind, in reality, cabin listed. That way you can stay in touch with what actually is, because that's all that matters. The rest of it's just in your mind. It has not happened yet. New lake house purchased. Waiting to make an offer. That's where it was. Waiting to make an offer. Can you feel all of that? The list goes on. Cable television, high-speed internet, yard service, furniture for the living room, the dining room, purchasing the furniture. That's in our mind, right? What's actually happened? If you will do this simple exercise, created only in my mind on the left side, created in tangible reality on the right side, you can look at any dream and know exactly where you are. And if you've broken the left side down into some baby steps, like for an example, moved in. There's nothing on the right side because we're not moved in. But underneath that, bullet points. Build a boat garage. Remodel that piece of the family room. High-speed internet, the cable television, etc. All the way down, all the bullet points. And this morning, we're getting a different kind of furniture for this place. So listing the bedroom of furniture. That's in my mind. This morning, it was listed and it could go to the right side. It's been listed. Living room furniture, family room furniture, dining room furniture. That's all that's happened. It's just been listed. That's it. Because sometimes we race ahead beyond what is actually done. Now that may sound really simple, like, wow, is that really a great secret? I want to challenge you. Anything you're thinking about in your business, in your life, created only in my mind, created in tangible reality, and just see the disparity. This very long list in my mind. Ooh, what's the next piece in reality? Then you'll stay more focused on transferring from the left side to the right side of the page. And when that all is shifted over, which in this case, I'll be sitting on the back deck watching the sunrise. And it'll be a done deal. This is the pattern I followed. It wasn't until just a few days ago that I realized this pattern. And these notes, we did dream creation. But this pattern we want to add to the dream creation modules in Shift. Now, our producer asked a question this morning. She said, what happens after sharing dream creation? Because the dream creation program is inside the Shift program. It's part of it. What would happen if we made an offer, and she's been working on this, for people to just get the dream creation piece? Because Shift is $497, $180 a month times 3 months if you want to finance it. The dream creation is $197, just a standalone, very valuable piece. Question for you. If you would like to know how to use your mind constructively, stay out of fantasy catastrophe, how to identify worthy dreams, how to begin to set goals and set baby steps and fund smaller dreams, building up to bigger dreams, to become results focused, not focused on hard work time or being busy. If you would like to know how to do that and actually start the process of taking those things we've created only in our mind and get them shifted over to created in tangible reality, if you want to do that, just make a note in the chat. I'm interested. And our team will take a look at that and connect with you and let you know when that's going to be available. And you'll want to take your habit finder. So you find out what kind of habits of thinking, because I can tell you, entrepreneurs not only are visual and effortless in thinking, they're also terribly resistant to structure. I am. That's why I use simple things like created only in my mind, created in tangible reality. That's simple enough. I can handle that structure. And built into that are baby steps in making things happen. Just comment below. I'm interested if you want to take a look at getting just the dream creation. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old. And it's so interesting that which we do so intuitively over time Takes a little while to break it down into granular pieces so someone else could start practicing it, because you have the gifts to do this. Entrepreneurs just do. But 98% of the time, they use those gifts destructively to go into fantasy and catastrophe and counterfeit forms of mental pleasure, all kinds of things that are terribly destructive, instead of using this gift to get inspired ideas and intuitive impressions and creative solutions that ignite passion, drive action, and help us shift those things from created only in our mind to created in tangible reality. Well, my friends, it's time to get our life organized. And one of the best ways to do it is to get clear on what you want. What do you really want? Ramona and I wanted a place that was close to our children, that also combined 2 residences into one really fun property. A place we could bring our family, a place we could bring our friends, a place we could bring our clients, and bless lives. And now, the pieces are in place. There's still many things on that left side that are getting moved over. Moved a couple this morning. I'll move a couple this afternoon. We'll just keep moving them until it's done. I must tell you one other thing. About Wednesday, Ramona and I are having a conversation. She's my balance. I'm the visionary. She's the practical one. I was talking about the lake house as if we were moving in. She said, well, what happens if the other people buy it? And I said, we own this house. We own this house. Can you be that committed to a dream? That committed. Now, often we have that nasty dialogue. I have some. I had some this week, especially last Sunday, Monday, not yesterday, today, a week ago. But you just step back and you go, wow, can I get to where I want to be thinking like that? Because our dreams in courage add to our core, our heart, our blood, our soul, to stretch and grow and become. Let's get our life organized. Let's get these objectives. Let's get these goals in place. Simple, not too complicated, because your thought processes will fight them, so that you can, in fact, build the life of your dreams. Remember, your dreams are worthless. Your plans are dust. Your goals are impossible. All are of no value unless they're followed by action, created only in my mind, created in tangible reality. Thanks, everyone. Have a blessed week, and we will see you next Monday. Thanks, everyone.